On November 1, 2025, what began as a quiet Saturday evening in Singapore was suddenly and violently shattered. A massive fire broke out in the heart of the Eunos industrial area, transforming a routine weekend into a night of chaos and fear. At exactly 5:30 p.m., flames erupted at 1079 Eunos Avenue 7, quickly engulfing an entire block of workshops and sending workers scrambling for safety. Thick, black smoke billowed into the sky, visible for kilometers around, from Bedok Reservoir Park to Al Junaid, and even as far as Tampines. The smoke was so dense that it blotted out the evening sun, casting an eerie shadow over the city. The acrid smell of burning chemicals and plastics filled the air, stinging the eyes and throats of residents nearby. The usual weekend calm was instantly replaced by panic, confusion, and a desperate urgency as people rushed to safety. The fire spread with terrifying speed through the single-story workshop units, which were packed tightly with flammable supplies, machinery, and office equipment. Explosions from gas canisters and stored chemicals echoed through the area. Within minutes, the blaze leapt from unit to unit, threatening to consume the entire structure and everything inside. Firefighters raced to contain the inferno, but the flames seemed unstoppable. Workers and bystanders watched in shock and disbelief from a safe distance as the flames climbed higher, punctuated by loud pops, the shattering of glass, and the groaning of collapsing steel beams and roofs. The scene was one of utter chaos and heartbreaking loss, as the fire painted the evening sky a dreadful, unnatural orange. Sirens wailed, and the air was thick with fear and uncertainty. In just a matter of moments, a place that had been bustling with life and work was reduced to a scene of devastation and ruin, forever changing the lives of those who depended on it. The Singapore Civil Defence Force sprang into action the moment emergency calls came in. At 5:30 p.m., a large-scale operation was launched to tackle the industrial blaze. 60 firefighters and 16 emergency vehicles, including fire engines, support trucks, and ambulances, raced to the scene. Their arrival signaled the seriousness of the incident, as sirens and flashing lights cut through the city. The firefighters faced a chaotic, hazardous environment, flames tearing through the roof, thick smoke reducing visibility. They quickly assessed the situation, forming a plan to contain the fire and protect nearby properties. The goal was clear: surround the blaze and prevent it from spreading. Firefighters, clad in heavy protective gear, rolled out hoses and prepared their equipment under the smoke-filled sky. Their swift, coordinated response brought hope to worried onlookers. The SCDF's professionalism was on full display as they took control of the crisis. With the SCDF in position, the stage was set for a dramatic confrontation between man and nature. The night air was thick with tension as firefighters readied themselves for the challenge ahead, their faces illuminated by the flashing lights of emergency vehicles. The battle against the fire began in earnest, as thick plumes of smoke billowed into the sky, and the orange glow of flames lit up the industrial skyline. Firefighters unleashed 2 high-pressure water jets, each stream cutting through the darkness, aiming directly at the heart of the inferno. Alongside them, 2 ground-based water monitors roared to life, attacking the blaze from multiple angles and creating a wall of water to contain the spread. An aerial monitor, mounted on an extendable ladder, poured water from above, targeting the burning roof where the flames were most intense and threatening to breach the structure. Water streams hammered the flames from all directions, creating a relentless assault on the inferno. The combined force of water and determination began to push the fire back, inch by inch. Teams coordinated their efforts with precision, communicating over radios and through hand signals, ensuring every part of the fire was targeted and no area was left vulnerable. The roar of water and flames filled the air, a dramatic soundtrack to the night. The scene was both chaotic and mesmerizing as jets of water sparkled in the firelight. After 3 intense hours of non-stop effort, the fire was finally brought under control by 8:30 p.m. Exhausted but resolute, the firefighters stood watch over the smoldering remains. Under control meant the fire was no longer spreading, though pockets still burned deep within the structure, threatening to reignite if left unchecked. Firefighters continued working tirelessly until 11 p.m., methodically extinguishing the last embers and searching for hidden hotspots to prevent any flare-ups. Their persistence and teamwork turned the tide, transforming chaos into control and danger into safety for the surrounding community. The night's battle was hard-won, But the danger was not yet over. As dawn approached, the firefighters remained vigilant, knowing that even in victory, their work was far from finished. Fighting a fire of this scale demands not just strength, but smart tactics to keep firefighters safe. The building's structure was unstable, with the roof and walls at risk of collapse. SCDF commanders deployed 2 remote-controlled firefighting robots, sending them into the most dangerous areas to douse flames up close. This technology allowed firefighters to stay out of harm's way while still attacking the fire's core. The team established a perimeter, fighting the blaze from outside the collapse zone. Full protective gear, fire-resistant suits, helmets, and breathing apparatus shielded firefighters from heat and debris. The defensive approach prioritized containment over saving the already compromised structure. Thanks to these tactics and advanced equipment, not a single firefighter was injured. It was a masterclass in safety and strategy. The SCDF's approach set a new standard for handling major industrial fires. By morning, the devastation was clear. 3 workshop units were completely destroyed, reduced to charred ruins. The fire had fed on building materials and office equipment, burning hot and fast. A 4th unit's roof was partially damaged, showing how close the fire came to spreading further. The main building's roof had collapsed, leaving a tangled wreck of metal and debris. For businesses like Best Doors, the losses were severe. Vital documents, machinery, and stock, all gone. Workers like Ms. Stella Liu spoke of irreplaceable losses. Some neighboring units, like System and Parts Engineering, escaped damage, but the shockwave of uncertainty rippled through the estate. The financial and emotional toll on affected businesses was immense. The ruins at 1079 Eunos Avenue 7 stood as a stark reminder of how quickly livelihoods can be lost. Recovery would be a long, difficult road. The fire quickly became a public spectacle, drawing curious crowds from across eastern Singapore. Word spread rapidly, and soon, people from all walks of life gathered at the scene, united by shock and concern. Mr. Antoine Lepere, who happened to be cycling nearby, was among the first to notice the ominous red glow lighting up the night sky. He watched in disbelief as the roof, weakened by the relentless flames, began to buckle and finally collapsed, a vivid sign of the fire's ferocity and the danger it posed. He later described the moment the structure caved in as unforgettable, a powerful reminder of the fire's destructive force and the unpredictability of such disasters. Factory worker Mr. Raju, a 5-year veteran of the area, called it the biggest fire he'd ever seen in his career. He spoke of the fear and confusion that swept through the workers as they evacuated, unsure if they would have jobs to return to. For local workers, the event shattered the normal routine and created real alarm. Many were left standing outside, anxiously watching the flames consume the place where they spent much of their lives. Onlookers gathered behind police lines, their faces lit by the flashing emergency lights, watching helplessly as their workplaces and livelihoods burned before their eyes. The crowd's mood was a complex mix of awe, fear, and deep concern for the future. Some whispered anxiously, while others simply stared, unable to process the scale of the disaster unfolding before them. Conversations were hushed, eyes fixed on the flames. The silence was broken only by the distant crackle of fire and the urgent shouts of firefighters battling the inferno. Behind the smoke and chaos were real people, displaced workers, worried families, and business owners whose lives were upended in an instant. The uncertainty of what would come next weighed heavily on everyone present. The human cost of the fire was felt deeply throughout the community. Neighbors comforted one another, sharing stories and offering support as they tried to make sense of the tragedy. The disaster left a lasting impression on all who witnessed it, a stark reminder of how quickly life can change and how communities come together in times of crisis. Eyewitness accounts poured in, each adding to the unfolding drama. Ms. Hannah, an events organizer, described the flames spreading with terrifying speed, engulfing the entire structure. The fire's visibility drew attention citywide. Photos and videos flooded social media, turning a local disaster into a national conversation. Police established a wide cordon, keeping crowds at a safe distance and ensuring SCDF had clear access. Officers managed the scene calmly, balancing public safety with the need for order. The mood was one of shared shock and sympathy, strangers united by the spectacle. As the community watched in silence, Everyone hoped for a swift end to the crisis, and above all, for everyone's safety. The fire became a moment of collective concern for Singapore. Even after the flames were out, the SCDF's work continued through the night. Firefighters began damping down, soaking the ruins to prevent hidden embers from reigniting. Using thermal imaging cameras, they hunted for hotspots buried in the debris. The process was painstaking, but essential to ensure the fire was truly out. Remarkably, there were no casualties, thanks to timely evacuations and the SCDF's vigilance. The area remained cordoned off, as the collapsed structure was unstable and hazardous. Police and SCDF worked together to keep the public safe and secure the site for investigation. The long night gave way to a morning of assessment and recovery. The city could finally breathe a sigh of relief. As dawn broke, the SCDF began investigating the cause of the fire. Specialist teams sifted through the debris, searching for clues to prevent future disasters. The Ministry of Home Affairs issued public alerts, urging people to stay away from the area for safety. Official advisories ensured emergency services could work without obstruction. Above all, this event highlighted the bravery and professionalism of the SCDF. 60 firefighters battled the blaze for hours, making critical decisions under immense pressure. Their courage and teamwork kept everyone safe. Singapore owes them its deepest thanks.